Welcome to Stories That Touch. Before the story begins, subscribe to the channel to support us and leave your like. If you enjoy it, share and comment. Your opinion is very important to us. Now let's get to the story. In today's video, you will witness a story of patience, self-control, romance, and passion, as well as the unconditional love of a mother for her child with cerebral palsy. Soo-min, a single mother who had been abandoned by her husband because he could not accept having a special child, received a job offer to work for a millionaire as a housekeeper. What she did not expect was that she would have to bathe her boss. At the top of a hill stood the imposing Han Manor. It was not enormous, but its refined architecture, with large windows and balconies opening onto a vast horizon, gave it an aura of elegance and melancholy. On the balcony, Ji-hoon Han, 35 years old, with striking features, a handsome face, and a muscular body, rested in his wheelchair. His serious and distant gaze was fixed on the ocean, where the sun and the moon met in an eternal embrace. The salty breeze carried memories of a devastating accident, a sudden screech of brakes, an impact that changed his life. Amid pain and frustration, he muttered to himself, "Physical therapy, nosy relatives. I can take care of myself." Pride and stubbornness were as evident as his physical beauty, which, even subdued, was still present. In contrast to the elegance of the manor, Soo-min's home was modest, simple, and filled with affection. Within its walls, which held stories of struggle and resilience, Soo-min carefully took care of Eun-woo, her special son, whose daily battle against cerebral palsy filled their routine with challenges and love. Her greatest wish was to get a customized wheelchair for him, but her financial situation prevented her from fulfilling this dream. One morning, as the distant sounds of the street mixed with the murmurs of prayers and hopes, the phone rang. On the other end, a voice from an employment agency announced an opportunity that could change her reality: a temporary job at the mansion of a recently injured millionaire. Upon hearing about the good salary and the chance to pay her bills while secretly saving to fulfill her son's dream, Soo-min's eyes shone with relief and determination. Without hesitation, she accepted the offer, quickly saying goodbye to her mother, who remained at home, ready to take care of Eun-woo. In her heart, this new hope beat strongly. Upon arriving at the manor, Soo-min was welcomed by the discreet and efficient Mr. Kong, the butler, who led her through the silent corridors, illuminated by natural light that flooded the spacious rooms. In a small lounge, the first encounter took place. Ji-hoon, immersed in his thoughts, cast a cold and evaluating look at Soo-min, a mixture of curiosity and distrust. Without hesitation, he issued his orders in a dry and authoritarian tone. "Clean the rooms, cook, and keep everything impeccable." Despite feeling the weight of past hardships and the millionaire's pride, Soo-min responded with firmness and politeness, demonstrating that her experience and determination were greater than any obstacle. On a day that seemed like any other, the unexpected happened. While Soo-min carried out her tasks with the precision of someone who had faced many adversities, an unbalanced movement caused Ji-hoon to momentarily lose his balance. In an instant, the man who always maintained control fell from his wheelchair. Worried, Soo-min rushed to help him, but was met with a brusque gesture and Ji-hoon's harsh voice. "I can take care of myself." However, that day's events were far from over. After the incident, the doctor warned that refusing assistance could worsen his condition. That same night, during Ji-hoon's birthday, a solitary celebration, as the stubborn millionaire insisted on staying in his room, Soo-min cautiously approached, offering help. To her attempts, Ji-hoon responded inflexibly. "No." But fate, weaving its ironies, brought the next morning with a feverish and weakened Ji-hoon, incapable of refusing the help he so desperately needed. At that decisive moment, Soo-min found herself facing an intimate and unexpected dilemma. Even with her heart racing and feeling deeply embarrassed, she approached to assist him in the bath. As the warm water enveloped the contours of his body, her hands, accustomed to daily battles, touched his skin with surprising delicacy. Every gesture was filled with conflicting emotions: the discomfort of being exposed to unexpected intimacy, and at the same time, a silent admiration for his physical beauty, which, despite his weakened state, remained virile and imposing. Soo-min carefully dried him, covering his exposed muscles with firm and precise movements, and fed him with a tenderness that was almost maternal. Behind Ji-hoon's arrogant and authoritative gaze, a glimmer of vulnerability began to emerge, a fleeting sparkle that, for a brief moment, challenged the pride and distance that had always defined him. In that instant, under the soft murmur of the morning and the subtle scent of soap and hope, something new and delicate began to form between them. Through touches and silences, the barrier that separated them started to crumble, revealing the possibility of a love that builds itself gradually through gestures and glances, within the intimacy of a manner that, despite its grandeur, bore witness to the beginning of an unexpected transformation. During Ji-hoon's physical therapy sessions, Soo-min was in the kitchen, immersed in her daily tasks and silent dreams of a better future for her son. As she stirred the pot and organized the utensils, the phone rang with desperate urgency. Upon answering, her mother's trembling voice exploded through the line. "Daughter, Eun-woo is having severe epileptic seizures with vomiting." In an instant, time seemed to freeze. Forgetting she was on duty, Soo-min grabbed her bag and, still dressed in her maid's uniform, left the manor in a hurry, her heart tight with fear for her son's health. The next day, upon returning to Han Manor, Soo-min found herself in a tense atmosphere. Ji-hoon, whose iron gaze seemed even harder, awaited her at the entrance. With a cold voice, he declared, "You're fired." Soo-min tried to explain, but her words were cut off by his inflexible attitude. "Take your things and leave," he ordered. At that very moment, a woman entered with an authoritative air. Without even offering a glance of trust, she entered Ji-hoon's room and firmly shut the door. The sound of that gesture echoed, and Soo-min, overwhelmed by an avalanche of emotions, couldn't hold back her tears. She ran to the bathroom, trying in vain to control herself. The discreet Mr. Kong, the butler, approached her gently. "What happened?" he asked. Through sobs, Soo-min confessed. "Yesterday, my special son had such a severe crisis that I forgot I was working and didn't even have time to inform Mr. Ji-hoon." Mr. Kong asked calmly, "And did you give him your version?" With a choked voice, she replied, "He didn't even let me speak." Then a woman entered his room and locked herself in. "Tell him the truth. Give him your version." The butler insisted with a tone that mixed firmness and compassion. "Yesterday I was rejected. I ran desperately when my son had such a severe epileptic seizure that I thought I would lose him. He has no health insurance, and I rely on a precarious public system. My son was hospitalized, and my father is with him. Do you think your life is difficult? Then switch places with me. Don't let this temporary problem turn you into a horrible man, because that's what you're being. I'm leaving, but with my head held high. For my son, I am capable of giving my life." After these words filled with pain and determination, Soo-min left, leaving Ji-hoon perplexed and silent. Devastated, she sat at the kitchen table. Mr. Kong, the butler, approached her with concern and said, "I'll make you some tea." As she sipped the tea, the elevator doors opened. In an unexpected gesture, Ji-hoon reappeared in his wheelchair, approaching Soo-min. With a voice that now carried a mix of surprise and regret, he asked, "Can you give us a moment?" Mr. Kong withdrew, and Ji-hoon, in a more subdued tone, said, "I didn't know you had a child in that condition. You can continue working here." Later, as the sun set and after tidying up his room, which remained impeccable as always, Soo-min said, "Your room is clean and organized as you like. Do you need anything else?" Ji-hoon hesitated for a moment before asking, "Can I ask you something? When a woman only asks for money and nothing else, what does that mean?" Soo-min, with the serenity that only the strong and determined possess, calmly replied, "That she's interested in your money, not in you." With a bitter sigh, Ji-hoon confessed, "My love life is a mess. It seems like every woman I meet just wants to take advantage of my wealth." Soo-min looked him in the eyes and said with conviction, "But there are good women out there too." Almost incredulous, Ji-hoon asked, "I haven't found one. Maybe I should just resign myself to solitude." At that moment, as the evening light bathed the manor, an emotionally charged silence filled the air. Both, with their wounds and sorrows exposed, realized that sometimes painful truths are the first step toward change. Change that, even if slow, can soften hardened hearts. One quiet morning, Soo-min entered Ji-hoon's room with dry, neatly folded towels, ready to continue her daily duties. From across the hallway, his rough voice called out from the bathroom, "Soo-min, is that you?" She paused for a moment, approached the door, and firmly responded, "Yes." "What do you need?" "Come in," he said. Upon entering, Soo-min was met with an unusual sight. Ji-hoon, shirtless and wearing only shorts, was seated in his wheelchair with an expression of mild discomfort and concern. "I have a small wound on my back, and the doctor recommended applying this lotion. Can you help me?" Soo-min swallowed hard but maintained her composure. "I can." With careful and gentle hands, she spread the lotion across his back, and Ji-hoon observed her every movement closely. After her soft touch, he commented, "You have such a light touch." Catching himself, Ji-hoon quickly continued, Can you get my crutches? I think I can use them now. Soo-min promptly complied. With slow steps, Ji-hoon moved toward his bed. She adjusted his pillow with care, ensuring his comfort. However, before she could leave, Ji-hoon surprised her with a request. Tomorrow night, could you stay here? Surprised, she asked, Why, Mr. Ji-hoon? He replied, his voice carrying a mix of need and expectation. Tomorrow is my company's anniversary, and I want to be there. Will you accompany me? Soo-min hesitated for a moment, considering her routine and the limitations of her wardrobe for such an event. Ji-hoon smirked slightly, as if he had anticipated her response, and assured her, Don't worry. I'll have some dresses brought for you to choose from. I just want you by my side to assist me. That night, Soo-min arrived home exhausted, only to be greeted by her mother with unexpected news. Daughter, Eun-woo is going to receive an adaptive wheelchair, and from now on, he'll get a monthly allowance from an anonymous donor. An angel has stepped in to help him. Overcome with emotion, Soo-min could hardly contain her surprise. But soon, she questioned, Did you take his case to a TV or radio program? Her mother, with an enigmatic smile, replied, Not that I know of. But since the entire hospital knows about him, maybe an influential doctor was moved by his case. The next morning, filled with hope and joy, Soo-min shared the news with Ji-hoon. With a subtle happiness, he revealed, I was the one who donated the wheelchair. Soo-min, hands to her mouth in shock, didn't hesitate to embrace him with all the strength of her gratitude. Feeling her heartbeat against his chest, Ji-hoon closed his eyes and whispered, I'm sorry for my rudeness. I'll help your son with much more. And this allowance he'll receive will surely make a big difference, right? Still in his arms, Soo-min murmured, her voice thick with emotion. I have no words to thank you. Ji-hoon handed her a bag. Take this bag. Inside, you'll find many dresses I had bought for you. Choose one for tonight. That evening, as Soo-min prepared to dress, Ji-hoon, displaying some impatience, urged, Hurry, Soo-min. I can't be late. She responded, I'll take a shower and get ready. Before she could leave, Ji-hoon added, I forgot your shoes. Soo-min smiled, a gleam of complicity in her eyes, and replied, Don't worry about that. I have a beautiful pair of heels. Moments later, Ji-hoon, impeccably dressed in his suit and seated in his wheelchair, waited in the living room. Then the door opened, revealing Soo-min in a stunning golden dress, adorned with shimmering earrings and her sparkling heels. She seemed to have shed the weight of her everyday struggles, unveiling a beauty that had always been hidden beneath routine and sacrifices. Trying to hide his admiration, Ji-hoon invited her. Shall we go to the car? As he drove, he stole discreet glances at Soo-min, noticing a slight discomfort in her posture, as if the intimacy of the moment made her hesitant. Yet, in that silent exchange of glances and emotions, they both knew that beneath formalities and obligations, something genuine and transformative was beginning to unfold. Upon arriving at the event hall, Soo-min stepped out of the car with confidence and retrieved Ji-hoon's wheelchair from the trunk. A few men quickly approached. Let us help you. Inside the event, curious gazes turned to the elegant woman accompanying Ji-hoon. His mother, in a commanding tone, called out, There are important people who want to talk to you. Without hesitation, Ji-hoon moved toward the guests. When Soo-min started to follow, Ji-hoon's mother, in an authoritative stance, immediately blocked her. You stay. It's not appropriate for someone like you to be at my son's side. Shocked, Soo-min lowered her head and murmured, Yes, ma'am. Seated at the table, she waited for Ji-hoon, feeling out of place in the luxurious setting. The moment arrived. Son, it's time for you to speak into the microphone, Soo-min encouraged with a forced smile. She gestured for him to step onto the stage while Ji-hoon delivered his speech about the achievements of the company, celebrating a memorable anniversary. Cameras flashed, and the guests admired him. Backstage, Ji-hoon's mother and the opportunistic woman approached Soo-min. Pretending it was an accident, the woman spilled juice on Soo's beautiful dress. Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to, she feigned innocence. Ji-hoon's mother let out a sarcastic laugh. Girl, this place is not for you. Meanwhile, Ji-hoon searched the crowd for Soo-min, but she was nowhere to be found. As his speech ended and guests began to disperse throughout the hall, waiters circulated with trays, and an indistinct murmur filled the air. Worried, Ji-hoon began looking for her. His mother coldly informed him. She said she was feeling unwell and left. Distressed, Ji-hoon exclaimed, She'll get lost. She's far from home. Where did she go, mother? Tell me. His mother's uncomfortable silence revealed the truth. In a resigned murmur, Ji-hoon reflected. She wouldn't have left like that unless someone forced her. It was you, wasn't it, Mother? Without wasting a second, Ji-hoon left the hall in his wheelchair. Moments later, he spotted Soo-min near the sidewalk sobbing. He approached her with a tense voice. Soo-min, are you crying? Concerned, Ji-hoon said. Let's get out of here. Your clothes are stained with grape juice. Between sobs, Soo-min replied, Your girlfriend spilled it on me. Ji-hoon firmly took his car keys from his pocket and declared, That woman and I are nothing. I bet she did it on purpose, jealous of you. Let's go home. When they arrived home, Soo-min, still saddened, apologized. I'm sorry for ruining everything. Ji-hoon, trying to lighten the mood, responded, Honestly, I was desperate to leave anyway. You did me a favor. Seeing a slight smile forming, he teased. Is that a smile? Timidly, Soo-min murmured. Yes, but I'm still covered in juice. With serenity, Ji-hoon advised, Take a shower and rest. Your son is fine. She confirmed. Yes, my sister is with my parents, helping to take care of him. Everything is fine. Later I'll... Checking the time, Ji-hoon interrupted. It's already late. Here's what we'll do. Tomorrow you have the day off. With concern, Soo-min asked, But what about you? With a tender look, he reassured her. Don't worry. Your son needs you more than I do. The night was calm and peaceful, until Ji-hoon's mother entered the house, impeccably dressed, with an air of arrogance. With a sharp voice, she questioned, Why did you leave the party so early? Your presence was essential until the end. After all, you own everything. Then, raising her voice, she added, That little woman and you are having an affair, aren't you? I know she's not your type. Ji-hoon, just a few steps from his bedroom, responded firmly, Mother, she works for me. That's all. But her arrogance did not waver. With a shrill voice, she ordered, Fire her. Get rid of that girl. Soo-min, who had just entered the room wearing more comfortable clothes, was immediately confronted. Ji-hoon's mother insisted, Go home now. Soo-min stays, Ji-hoon interjected, trying to oppose his mother's disdain. At that moment, Soo-min felt deeply humiliated. Tears streamed down her face, and her eyes betrayed the pain of being belittled in such a pompous and superficial environment. Ji-hoon, outraged, turned to his mother and with a trembling voice said, Mother, I respect you, but you've crossed the line. Please take your car and go home. Unable to accept the reprimand, she stormed out. As she passed Soo-min, she shoved her with such force that Soo-min fell onto the floor. The sound of the car's engine roared as she drove away. Alone by the door, Soo-min collapsed in despair, crying. A few moments later, Ji-hoon approached her, his face filled with worry and sorrow. Soo-min, sit here. She sat at the edge of the bed, her eyes red from crying. With a choked voice, she confessed, I can't do this. People with money despise those who have nothing. Please, don't invite me to any more events. Moved, Ji-hoon wiped her tears and apologized for the humiliation of that night. In an effort to change the mood, he started talking about random topics, trying to make her smile. Slowly, between quiet chuckles and simple stories, Soo-min calmed down. A gentle breeze entered through the window, making her hair dance in the wind, catching Ji-hoon's affectionate gaze. Then he suggested, Let's go look at the view from the terrace. Under the vast night sky, they felt the breeze on their faces, and the silence enveloped them. After a brief pause, Ji-hoon lamented, When I walk again, you'll be dismissed. You know that, right? Soo-min, with a mix of sadness and resignation, replied, Yes, and you'll go back to your life, to your house, won't you? Ji-hoon nodded slowly, revealing the reality of his isolation. Yes, I have many houses, but my main one is in a private condominium. I chose to isolate myself here until my recovery. Of all the women, you are the one who impressed me the most, determined, strong. For a moment, their eyes locked intensely, but feeling shy, Soo-min looked away. Ji-hoon murmured, I think I'll sleep now. Help me, please, and then you can go to the guest room. As she adjusted his pillow, their eyes met again. Despite trying to keep her composure, Soo's heart pounded as she felt Ji-hoon's breath on her neck. In a silent impulse, she leaned in, and in a passionate kiss, they surrendered to a moment of long-suppressed emotion. Ji-hoon held her in his arms, gently caressing her back, while Soo-min reciprocated with deep, intense kisses. However, at the height of passion, Soo-min suddenly pulled away, her voice trembling. I can't. Holding her hand, Ji-hoon asked with concern, Why? Unable to respond, Soo-min silently left the room, heading to the guest bedroom for the night. That night had been marked by humiliation and revelations, but also by unexpected tenderness. An uncertain step toward redemption and the awakening of feelings that might transform pain into a new beginning. Sumin lifted her head, gathering all the courage she had left. With a firm voice, she replied, "Madam, I am only here because I need this job to take care of my son. But if your wish is to humiliate me and throw me out, know that I am not a parasite. I do not accept charity, nor will I stay where I am not welcome." She looked at Ji-hoon one last time, searching for any hesitation in his eyes. But before he could speak, she turned away and left the mansion, holding back the tears that threatened to fall. For days, Ji-hoon remained silent. He felt Sumin's absence in a way he never thought possible. His house felt empty, lifeless. Then, one cold night, he realized he could no longer ignore his feelings. The next day, Ji-hoon went to Sumin's house. When he arrived, he saw Eun-woo in his wheelchair, smiling innocently as he played with his grandmother. When Sumin appeared at the door, surprised to see him there, Ji-hoon took a deep breath and said, "I was a fool. I spent so much time pushing people away that I almost lost the only person who truly mattered in my life." Sumin hesitated, but before she could speak, Ji-hoon continued, "I am not perfect and maybe I never will be. But I want to try. I want to be by your side, to help you with Eun-woo. And if you let me, I want to be a part of your life." Silence filled the air. Then, with teary eyes, Sumin smiled. "Ji-hoon, I want to try too." And under the golden light of the sunset, they embraced for the first time, sealing a new beginning, not perfect, but real and full of hope. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. See you next time with more exciting and sincere stories. Turn on notifications so you don't miss a single story.